Lesson 1.4 is about using exponents to show powers of 10. Alright, so let's start off with what do these words mean? So what is an exponent? What is a power of 10? So whenever you see something that looks like this, where there's a large number and then a smaller number kind of hovering above it to the right, the large number is called the base number. So in this case, 10 is our base number. And the small number is called the exponent. So in this case, the 4 is the exponent. The exponent tells you how many times you multiply the base number. So in this case, our base number is 10. Our exponent 4 tells us that we're multiplying 10 by itself 4 times. So 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. So this right here, which we say 10 to the 4th, 10 to the 4th is equal to 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. We're multiplying 10 4 times. And then you can also say that that is equal to 10,000, because 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 is 10,000. Now you can use exponents with any number. You don't have to just use exponents with the number 10. So for example, we could have 2 to the 3rd power. What this means is our base number is 2 and our exponent is 3. And 2 to the 3rd power means that we're taking our base number of 2 and we're multiplying it 3 times. So 2 to the 3rd power is equal to 2 times 2 times 2, and 2 times 2 times 2 is equal to 8. So the base number is always the number you're multiplying, and the exponent tells you how many times you're multiplying that number. Now in 5th grade, we only focus on using exponents with a base number of 10, and that's what powers of 10 are. So when we talk about powers of 10, we're talking about numbers we get when we put an exponent with a 10. So powers of 10 are 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, etc. You can keep going. Alright, so there are some special powers of 10 that you need to know about. 10 to the 0 power is kind of a weird one. You just have to remember 10 to the 0 power is equal to 1. Okay? From there, everything's pretty easy. So 10 to the 1st just means 10, because you're just multiplying 10 once, so just 10. 10 to the 2nd power is equal to 10 times 10, right? Because we have an exponent of 2 tells us we're multiplying 10 twice, so 10 to the 2nd power is equal to 100. 10 to the 3rd power means 10 times 10 times 10, and 10 times 10 times 10 is equal to 1,000. 10 to the 4th power is 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, which is equal to 10,000. So figuring out what the powers of 10 are equal to is not too difficult. You just multiply the 10 as many times as the exponent tells you. The extra things that you need to remember about some of these are how to read them. So this we read as 10 to the 0 power, 10 to the 1st power, 10 to the 2nd power, 10 to the 3rd power, 10 to the 4th power, etc. The special ones you have to remember are, there's a special way to read 10 to the 2nd power and a special way to read 10 to the 3rd power. So you can say 10 to the 2nd power, you can say 10 to the 3rd power, but what most people say is they say 10 squared and 10 cubed. So 10 squared. The reason that people say 10 squared is if you think about a square, if you're finding the area of that square, you're multiplying 10 times 10. So you're multiplying 10 2 times. So that's where we get 10 squared from. 10 cubed is the same idea, but with a cube. If you have a cube, it's 3-dimensional, right? Here's our cube. And to get the volume of the cube, you multiply 10 times 10 times 10, or you multiply 3 times. So that's where we get 10 cubed from. So we have 10 to the 0 power, 10 to the first power, 10 squared, 10 cubed, 10 to the fourth power, and when you keep going, you just say 10 to the fifth power, 10 to the sixth power, 10 to the seventh power, and so on. All right, so just to review, if we have 10 cubed, 10 is our base number, 3 is our exponent, and the 3 tells us we're multiplying 10 3 times. So 10 cubed is equal to 10 times 10 times 10, right, 10 3 times, and that's equal to 1,000. So you can say that 10 cubed is equal to 1,000. Let's say we have 10 to the fifth power. That means we're multiplying 10 5 times. So 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. And if you multiply 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, you find out that 10 to the fifth power is equal to 100,000. You also will see whole numbers multiplied by powers of 10. So this looks like it's going to be more difficult, but it's really not. There's just one tiny extra step. So what I'm talking about is you might see a problem that looks like 3 times 10 squared. So all this means is 3 times, so that's the same, right? 3 times. And then 10 squared we know is equal to 10 times 10. So all this means is you're doing 3 times 10 times 10. So if you actually multiply 3 times 10 times 10, we know 10 times 10 is 100, and then 100 times 3 is 300. So this whole thing is equal to 300. Let's look at another example. Get rid of this. All right, let's say you see the problem 5 times 10 to the fourth. Okay, all this means is you're doing 5 times, right? That stays the same. And we know 10 to the fourth is equal to 10 multiplied 4 times. So 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. Right, so 10 to the fourth, 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. And if you multiply out 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, that's equal to 10,000. And then multiply that by 5, you get 50,000. So 5 times 10 to the fourth is equal to 50,000.